Coming up on the March 20th edition of Sports Extra, the men's basketball team gave Tar Heel fans a scare, but Carolina is headed to the Sweet 16.
And we preview Friday's matchup with Butler and the road going forward.
And the gymnastics team won some big-time awards to end the season. All that and so much more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Journalism and Mass Communication, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics, this is Sports Extra.
What a sweet weekend it was for Carolina basketball fans. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Rivers Upchurch. The men's basketball team is headed to its third straight Sweet 16. But before we look at the matchup with Butler, let's take a look at the Heels' first weekend in the tournament. The 1-seed Tar Heels took the short trip to Greenville, South Carolina to kick off the big dance with a matchup against 16-seed Texas Southern. It was Justin Jackson's world, and the Tigers were just living in it as the junior poured in 5 of his 8 attempts from downtown to 21 points and 7 rebounds. Offensive rebounds, as per usual, were a major key in the Tar Heels getting their offense rolling as you see that Luke May rebound turning into another J-Jax bomb. And Joel Berry had some bombs of his own, hitting this one to beat the halftime buzzer and send the Heels into the break with a 25-point lead. The offensive showcase continued in the second half with Isaiah Hicks scoring from behind the backboard on this drive, a little dipsy-do, and Nate Britt hitting a rare three-pointer as Roy got the whole team involved. Even my main man, Candler Coker, hit a beautiful reverse layup to get the biscuits as UNC messes with Texas Southern, 103-64, guided by Jackson's big night.
When that happens, you just start smiling, especially, this little slump that he's been in lately. It's real good, especially, the first game, so that just leaves more momentum going on to the next few games.
After the AC tournament, I tried to get in the gym as much as I possibly could and just try to get back to where I was.
Sunday's game in the round of 32 was an entirely different story. The Heels got off to a strong start with a Justin Jackson 3, and then Joel Berry joined in on the action with a long ball of his own. But Carolina gave away a 17-point first-half lead, taking a 5-point lead into the halftime break and giving the Razorbacks the momentum, who carried that into the second half, taking a 1-point lead midway through. And it was back and forth for the rest of the game, but Kennedy Meeks gets a massive putback that puts Carolina up 3. And then some solid defense leads to a Jackson dunk that seals the deal, and UNC advances to the Sweet 16, 72-65, staving off what would have been a heartbreaking end to the season.
5 minutes till, when they came back, it was like, this can't be, our last game. Me and Kennedy, they, was just looking at each other like, this is not it. We got to do something.
That could have been the end of our season, and I think everybody really believed that we'd come back, and they took that seriously, and so we got the stops whenever we needed to.
Yeah, I think we definitely had doubts, just because we didn't want them to keep hitting shots at the end of the shot clock.
For us, that could have been the end of it this year with these group of guys and everything like that. So we're just happy that we moved on to the next one, and hopefully we can continue pursuing that dream that we had to get back to where we were.
The play that really propelled Carolina into the Sweet 16 was the Kennedy Meeks putback with 45 seconds to play. Meeks and Berry walked us through the play.
I got pushed in the back, and I felt like the guy wasn't in a good position to take a charge, but, you never know how the whistle's going to go.
See, I didn't even shoot it. I thought that. No, I didn't. So I happened to. I figured somebody shot it. I didn't know it was Joel. And, so I just went to the board, man, and got in front of the defender, and the ball fell in my hand and just followed through with it.
Basketball analyst Lindsay Sparrow joins us now live in the studio. Lindsay, fans were freaking out when it looked like Arkansas might get the better of the Heels.
Well, I think everyone was a little nervous that late Arkansas led, but the Heels' 12-0 run to end the game was enough to help them squeeze through to the next round. With Justin Jackson being named ACC Player of the Year, he has a huge target on his back for North Carolina competitors. But on Friday, Texas Southern could not shut him down. Jackson scored a game-high 21 points for the Heels, making 8 of 13 from the floor and 5 of 8 from three-point range. He blew past and over Texas Southern defenders, able to take the quick jumpers and long-range threes he has proven to be effective with. However, Yesterday, it was clear that Jackson was at the top of Arkansas's scouting report. The Razorback defense stayed in Jackson's face, proving to be effective as he struggled to get the ball into the basket. He went 2 of 8 from inside the arc and 3 of 6 from the 3. However, Arkansas's strong defense didn't stop Jackson from being a strong player for the Heels. He made up for the lack of efficiency on the scoreboard with a career-high 5 steals, adding 8 rebounds and 5 assists. Despite Jackson's weaker shooting performance against the Razorbacks, Jackson drained 3 three-pointers, putting him at 98 on the season, and 98 is the number for the record books. Jackson officially surpasses Shamond Williams' single-season three-point record of 95 in 1997, 4 more than Marcus Page hit in 2015. But what happens if Justin Jackson continues to be the main target for the rest of the tournament and his shooting opportunities are limited? Well, for me, this is a no-brainer. Rebounding. North Carolina entered the game as the best rebounding team in the nation, and last night UNC had 45 rebounds, 18 of them offensive, out-rebounding the Razorbacks by 13. With the UNC big men able to get solid positioning under the basket, it takes pressure off the perimeter shooters with confidence in second-chance putbacks. And yesterday, this stressful toss-up by Joel Berry ended in a huge putback play by Kennedy Meeks, and that put the Heels up 3 in the final minute of their round of 32 matchup, sending them to the Sweet 16. And speaking of Kennedy Meeks, a big part of the Tar Heels' rebounding success has been the consistency of Meeks this season. Meeks had 11 boards last night to put him at 1,000 career rebounds, placing him in elite company. Psycho T holds the UNC record with more than 1,200 rebounds, but Meeks has a chance to climb up the ranks a little more. He can easily pass Brad Daugherty and Mitch Kupchak with just 7 more boards and could potentially climb even higher than that. And speaking of the number 1,000, this year's squad shares one major similarity with Roy's past 2 national championship teams. Only twice before this year has Coach Williams had 4 players on his roster who have scored at least 1,000 career points. In 2005, Felton, May, Jawad Williams, and Rashad McCants belonged to that club. And in 2009, it was Hansborough, Green, Lawson, and Ellington. This year, Meeks, Hicks, Berry, and Jackson have all reached that milestone. And if you didn't already know, 2005 and 2009 were pretty good years for UNC basketball. Rivers?
I bet you all didn't think we had the technology to put a reporter in literal outer space, but we have it. Thanks, Lindsay. We'll see how many boards Kennedy Meeks can pull down in the Sweet 16, perhaps helping Carolina advance to the Elite 8.
And speaking of elite, let's go live to John Assetti at the Dean Dome for a look at what's in store for the Heels as they try to survive and advance. John?
Thanks, Peyton. The Heels managed to squeak by the Razorbacks yesterday, but the competition only gets tougher from here on out. The South Bracket has the unique distinction of being the only one of the 4 in which each of the top 4 seeds made it to the Sweet 16, and a matchup with 4-seed Butler is up next. Butler has a pretty scary stat in its favor, and that is that the Bulldogs are 4-0 this season against RPI top 25 opponents after beating Cincinnati, Arizona, and Villanova twice. Butler loves to control the tempo and play at its own pace, which is terrifying when you realize the Bulldogs shot 53% from 3 as a team against Middle Tennessee in the round of 32. Another scary stat is that as much as UNC loves to rebound offensively, Butler loves to rebound defensively, which means the Bulldogs will try to limit the Tar Heels back to the basket points. Another thing to consider is that both teams will be dealing with key injuries. Obviously, Joel Berry had his ankle and hand injuries he was dealing with against the Razorbacks, and Butler's own Kamar Baldwin has been playing through back pain, which could make this game even more interesting. Friday's matchup with the Bulldogs will mark the 18th time in 29 seasons as a head coach that Roy Williams has made the Sweet 16, and Tar Heel fans can take comfort in Old Roy's record at this stage of the tournament. Overall, Coach Williams is 12-5 when playing in the Sweet 16, and that includes a 5-4 record while he was at Kansas. Roy is 7-1 at UNC in the round of 16, and this is his 3rd straight year making it to this point, with that one loss coming in 2015. With all that in mind, I'm picking the Tar Heels, surprise, surprise, to beat Butler 78-70 and advance to the Elite 8 for a matchup against one of 2 college basketball powerhouses, UCLA or Kentucky. Both of these teams can score in spades. UCLA's Lonzo Ball has been the best offensive weapon in college basketball this year, bar none. And the Bruins have more often than not steamrolled their opponents despite a pretty porous defense. On the other hand, as the Tar Heels found out the hard way, Kentucky can also score with the best of them. With 3 first-round locks in this year's NBA draft in Malik Monk of 47-point infamy, De'Aaron Fox, and Big Bam Adebayo, all more than capable of putting up points. I don't mean to get ahead of ourselves here, but I think that UCLA's ability to play together as a team will prove the difference in that game, as I predict a UNC-UCLA blue blood matchup with a trip to the Final Four on the line. It's safe to say the Tar Heels will have a tough road back to the Final Four with plenty of capable teams standing in their way, but I still believe Roy and his boys want to avenge last year's heartbreak, so I'm going Heels all the way. But, of course, knock on wood. Back to you guys.
John Assetti going out on a limb, but I'm pretty sure everyone down at the Dean Dome is thinking the same thing. Thanks, John.
The round of 32 in the tournament provided a lot of upsets and excitement, and your bracket, like mine, is probably busted. Here at Sports Extra, we do a bracket challenge of our own, so here's a little update on the current standings. Senior John Assetti, who you just heard from down at the Dean Dome, and Evan Badler, Sports Extra alum and UNC class of 2014, are tied for first in the bracket challenge, each with 480 points. John has picked UNC to win it all, while Evan has picked Kansas as the champion. And all the way in last place with only 390 points is the basketball guru himself, Brett Live Thompson.
And now we go to Memphis for a conversation with reporter Brad Broders, a UNC alum. Brad, what is the atmosphere like out there, especially among the Tar Heels?
Among UNC alumni, there is certainly a lot of excitement. We sort of had this day on our calendar for a few months in the hopes that not only Carolina would be sent to the South region, but obviously advancing to the Sweet 16, because we knew months ago that Memphis was the South Regional semi and final. We have an alumni group of about 70 or 80 of us, and we're just can't wait to invite all the rest of Tar Heel Nation down I-40.
Now, what will your involvement in the coverage be?
Well, on Thursday, there will be the open practices of all the teams, and obviously there will be a huge fan element among these 4 schools, including North Carolina. So tentatively, what I'm saying on Thursday is to be on Beale Street. That is only a block away from FedEx Forum, where the games will be held. So there will certainly be a lot of fans, likely many of them making their way into Memphis Wednesday night, including many from Tar Heel Nation. So Thursday, I will be assisting not only with the Memphis my local station, the ABC affiliate in Memphis, but also there's some talk of in Raleigh with some of the coverage with the UNC angle. So I'm excited to hopefully help out our Raleigh sister station with the coverage specifically to North Carolina fans and the experience in Memphis.
I know you're supposed to be unbiased at your station, but you'll secretly be pulling for the Heels, right?
Yes. On my Facebook page, I usually on game days will wear a subtle Carolina blue tie with little Tar Heels on it. And you can't really see it on camera when I'm live on the 5 and 6 o'clock news, but I certainly wear the colors proudly. Quietly, I'll have to be during the weekends because as a media member, you can't cheer on press row, as you well know. But certainly, internally, I'm going to be very excited.
That's Brad Broders out in Memphis. Thanks, Brad.
The women's lacrosse team brought the pain this weekend
And continued its blistering 5-game win streak.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
The Tar Heel gymnastic team could qualify for the NCAA regionals after its 4th place finish at the East Atlantic Gymnastics League Championship. And there were standout performances from junior Morgan Lane, freshman Kaja Hislop, and assistant coach Amy Smith. Each brought home an East Atlantic award. Morgan Lane is the 2017 EAGL Gymnast of the Year, competing as an all-rounder at every meet this season, ranking #1 in this weekend's championship and 21st nationally after scoring 9.9 or better in both the beam and floor events. And for freshman Kaja Hislop, the 2017 EAGL Freshman Award for her outstanding performance on the floor and beam, earning her the EAGL #1 rank. And she did all this while fighting through a wrist injury all season long, making it all the more impressive. And North Carolina Associate Head Coach Amy Smith has been named the East Atlantic Gymnastics League Assistant Coach of the Year. Smith does all music production and choreography for floor exercise and is one of the best balance beam coaches on staff. She has helped develop Morgan Lane and Kaja Hislop on balance beam and floor exercise. Smith joined the program in 2013 and was promoted to Carolina's Associate Head Coach in 2014.
And to tell us about it herself, we have the EAGL Freshman of the Year, Kaja Hislop, here in the studio with us. It's got to feel good to be recognized this early on in your career. How did you find out about the award, and how did it make you feel?
Well, throughout the season, I've been getting a lot of Eagle of the Week recognitions, so I kind of had an idea about that, and then they just announced it this weekend after Eagle Championships. And I didn't really know about it before then, but it felt really good that it all kind of came together in the end.
Okay, so EAGL Freshman of the Year this year. What does this mean for the rest of your UNC career?
I think it's a really good base to have and kind of keep moving forward from there. And hopefully me doing well my freshman year will be good for the next freshman to come. One of who is actually my best friend from my club home. I want to be someone that they can look up to as well and just keep moving forwards.
Okay, so you want to be a leader on the team. Who is somebody that you look up to? What was your sort of inspiration coming from London to UNC?
I actually trained with Allie Raisman in my club gym in Boston, so she's always been someone I can look up to because she's been like such a good friend and teammate in the gym, and I kind of want to be like her too.
Yeah, absolutely, Olympian. And so your teammate Morgan Lane here at UNC was just named the EAGL Gymnast of the Year. What's it been like to watch the junior year that she's had?
Well, coming in, I knew how great she was, and kind of seeing her in person, it just still amazes me. Like, she's just awesome inside and out of the gym, and she really deserves it. She's a great leader and role model.
Well, congratulations on all your success. We wish you continued success and many more awards. EAGL Freshman of the Year, Kaja Hislop in studio. Thanks, Kaja.
Thank you.
The women's lacrosse team ended its spring break with a top 25 matchup in sunny but cool Chapel Hill. The #2 ranked lacrosse team had a casual volley with 13th ranked Northwestern on Sunday until Sammy Jo Tracy said, "It's time to get serious," tying the game 10-10 with this goal. Let's watch that impressive between the legs shot again. Da-na-na, da-na-na. From there, Ella Hazard scored with just under 13 minutes to help the Heels pull ahead, and they go on a tear and claim the victory 17-12.
It was a game of career highs for a couple of Tar Heels as Carolina men's lacrosse went up against Dartmouth on Saturday. The match played on Navy Field. Sophomore Andy Matthews had a great game with 3 goals, 2 of which came in the first 57 seconds of the game. Carolina took the lead in the second quarter and never looked back. Junior Chris Cloutier also had a record day, leading the Heels with 3 goals, putting this one on the top shelf and racking up a career-high 4 assists, including this one to Timmy Kelly. UNC's 17-6 victory broke a 2-game losing streak, a much-needed confidence boost as the Tar Heels will have a rematch of the 2016 NCAA championship game against Maryland on Saturday in Chapel Hill. The softball team improved on what was already the best start in program history.
More about the Heels' trip to Blacksburg when Sports Extra returns.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even brought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
With the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Where you step in swiftly, with me keep up. If not, just stop, pop a spot, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spell of me. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch, or jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat, cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack, cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. My name is Harvey Lauer. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
If you're a student, you might have traveled to the beach for spring break, but the softball team headed to not-so-tropical Blacksburg, Virginia to face the Hokies in Carolina's first ACC road series of the season. The Heels were feeling lucky on St. Patty's Day and got on the board with Destiny DeBerry, who shamrocked the 2 RBI single in the top of the 4th. Then Katie Bailiff stepped to the plate and added to Carolina's lead with an RBI double in the top of the 5th. And Carolina rookie Brittany Pickett showed composure in the circle, finishing off the game with a strikeout and giving the Heels the 6-2 win to open the series. In round 2 against the Hokies, Katie Bailiff put UNC on the board with an RBI single that the Virginia Tech center fielder just missed. Then later in the game, Kendra Lynch hits the RBI single down the third baseline to tie it up in the top of the 7th. And after an hour and 43-minute rain delay, Caitlin Shiflett with a sac fly, and Katie Bailiff is coming home. Bailiff crosses the plate to give Carolina the lead in extras. Brittany Pickett came in and pitched perfectly down the stretch to give UNC its 3rd extra innings win of the season, 4-3. In Game 3, the Hokies handed the Heels their first conference loss of the season. Virginia Tech scored 10 runs on 9 hits in the second inning alone, and the Hokies won 13-4. The loss dropped Carolina to 24-6 on the season, including 5-1 in the ACC.
The Diamond Heels went on the road for the first time this weekend, taking on Georgia Tech in an ACC Coastal matchup. Sophomore Cody Roberts started the game off strong with a long RBI double to left center field, giving the Heels the early lead. However, Home Reds led the Heels on this day, with senior Tyler Lynn starting it off in the 4th with this shot to right center field. And sophomore Kyle Daughtris added to the lead in the 6th with this liner out to straightaway right, and another insurance run on this bomb by junior Logan Warmoth in the 9th. And on the mound, sophomore J.B. Bukowskis struck out 14 on the day, and freshman closer Josh Hyatt came on to finish the game with this 6th save of the season. The Heels fell to Georgia Tech in extra innings in Saturday's game. The teams were tied until Tech's Kel Johnson hit a 2-run bomb in the bottom of the 12th inning, and Luca Delatry started on the mound for the Heels, allowing just 1 earned run on 5 hits through 8 innings. Ashton McGee had 3 hits, but Heels fell 4-2. In the rubber match, we jumped to the top of the 6th when freshman Ashton McGee hits this bomb to deep right center, cutting the Yellow Jacket lead in half. And then in the 8th, another freshman, Michael Bush, gives the Heels the 5-4 lead with this sacrifice fly, scoring Cody Roberts. And junior Brett Daniels shined on the mound, striking out 9 batters in relief, more than doubling his previous career high of 4. Freshman Josh Hyatt continued the dominant pitching from the Tar Heel bullpen, striking out the side and earning his ACC leading 7th save of the year. The Heels return to the diamond at East Carolina on Wednesday.
Hey Peyton, where's Duke?
Certainly not in the Sweet 16 after the other Carolina took care of business.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Coming into the NCAA tournament, the ACC looked to be the strongest conference in the country.
But after 9 teams entered the tournament, only 1 remains. The Heels are the only team in the conference still standing. Virginia Tech, Miami, and Wake Forest all lost in the first round, while Florida State and UVA suffered devastating defeats in the second round, along with Notre Dame, Louisville, and Duke.
And of course, that Duke loss last night to South Carolina brings tears of joy to the eyes of all Tar Heel fans. And just to put salt in the wound, let's relive Sunday night's magical victory by the Gamecocks. We'll start off early as Luke Kennard commits the first of Duke's 18 turnovers. The Cox turn defense into offense as Cindarius of House Thornwell takes it to the rack for 2 of his game-high 24. But Duke was able to right the ship momentarily as Matt Jones rattles home a 3 to put the Dukies up 10 in what would be his last college game ever. In the second half, it was all Scar. Poor little Grayson Allen. Everybody's so mean to him. He turns it over for another Cox dunk. And the Heels fans in Greenville were loving it. 50 seconds left, Cox up 8. Another wide open dunk, and SC can taste it. Thornwell dribbles it out, and Duke loses to the second best directional Carolina, 88-81.
All right, now as much as I love a Duke loss, I was kind of looking forward to a championship rivalry showdown, but I mean, I guess anytime Duke gets out, it's a great day for Carolina.
Absolutely not. Don't miss them at all.
Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra. Thanks for watching and have a great night.